Hello there, you're watching The Headliner and I'm Krishna Patel. Tonight we're unpacking a 73 crore public works project in Vadodara, an initiative that promised clean waters and coastal safety but delivered instead a heap of controversy and questionable accountability. Now, this project was actually meant to make sure to widen Vishwamitri River and make sure that there are no floods in Vadodara city, which happens every year during the monsoon. Now, the project spanned 24.7 kilometers of the Vishwamitri River, broken into 4 phases, focusing on deepening channels, removing debris, and fortifying the eroded banks. Financially, 61 crore rupees was directly allowed to river dredging, while an additional 30 crore cleared canals. Now, bioengineering support costed about 6.5 crores, and protective gabion walls around 12 bridges tallied 36.7 crore rupees, part of a larger 90 crore flood defense regime. With such an intense financial layout, one would assume project documentation, soil logs, documentation charts, ecological reports. Every detail would be meticulously archived. But unfortunately, that is not what has happened. Now, crews removed about 17 lakh cubic meters of silt, exceeding their original target of 15.4 lakh, a 12% overshoot. That's enough to fill more than 600 Olympic-sized swimming pools. I hope you understand that. Urban drainage officials used about 240 dumpers, while irrigation teams used 86. This surge in excavation boosted downstream reservoir capacities. Ajwa tank climbed from 64 to 68 million cubic meters. Now, Pratappura from 5 to 9 million cubic meters, yet larger excavation numbers raised eyebrows. Why the sudden increase? Cost overruns are one thing, missing accountability is another. Now, the Vishwamitri River runs approximately 47 kilometers through Vadodara, threading urban density and wild wetlands. It sustains local ecosystems, supports migratory birds, and notably hosts a crocodile population. By mid-project, civic authorities had mobilized environmental safeguards for about 300 workers in crocodile zones. Watch zones marked as red flag zones. Dense forest watchers, the work held back until hatching seasons. Through effort, attached attention, experts still caution dredging without revitalizing floodplains and tributaries is just the first step in a much longer journey. The Gujarat State Human Rights Commission's expert panel flagged several issues. They warned that greenery removal trees, scrubs, reeds had endangered bank stability, pushing vertical slopes above safe limits. Worse, bioengineering was incomplete. Only 2.3 kilometers of banks had been lined with coir mats before monsoon rains, leaving the rest very vulnerable. Now, the panel recommended a structured science-led plantation plan. A structured science-led plantation plan. I repeat, targeting native species and stabilizing ecosystems rather than cosmetic fixes. Simultaneously, activists from environmental NGOs and local universities noted that river projects under NGT mandates often treat rivers like drains. Floodplains, wetland patches, and lakes remained ignored. So now let's talk soil. With the plot thickens, all that dredged material was supposed to be royalty-free and made available via application to farmers, institutions, and home builders officially. Now, Gujarat Mitra's investigation revealed a different story. Thousands of tons were grabbed without auction or limits by local corporators and politicians for personal usage. Some of that royalty-free soil even found its way into private resale. Meanwhile, registered applicants never heard back. NGOs got token allotments and religious trusts received limited allocation. The civic body, yes, never released records, no public list of names, no distributed tons, just rumor, circumstantial evidence. Now, local citizens and opposition representatives from Congress and Aam Aadmi Party cried foul. Memorandums were filed, allegations piled up, and one zone showed 75 crore rupees in paperwork but had no equipment. Another 25 crore by irrigation team with no visible soil removal. Complaints demanded a judicial inquiry, soil audit, financial transparency, and ecological review. Activists criticized the municipal body's unwillingness to share delivery notes, soil logs, gate passes, even applicant registers. Instead of openness, they found a thick layer of secrecy. Post-dredging fears, especially increased bank erosion, led engineers back to the river with walls. Stone-filled cages protecting 12 bridge spires. The 36.7 crore engineering contract includes 5-year liability period and adherence to IS specification standards. This walls aim to dissipate water energy at points where current intensifies could break structural damage. But infrastructure isn't the only answer. Vegetative buffers, sediment traps, and biodiversity corridors are equally important for long-term stability. Continuing concerns include rising vertical bank faces and bank scouring only outcomes if revetted banks are left bare. With heavy monsoons predicted, uncontrolled soil slopes can collapse or worse, slip additional silt downstream, neglecting earlier work. Expert panels call for emergency plantation, stabilization grasses, erosion of heavy machinery near banks, and diligent ecological supervision. What's unfolding in Vadodara highlights a national pattern. River restoration projects across India often shy away from comprehensive implementation and accountability. So long as funds flow and prints are done, projects move on. But without final checks, soil records, ecological follow-ups, community oversight, restoration remains half-baked. The path forward must feature transparency, soil allotment audit, release name to ton registry and distribution schedule, third-party verification if needed, financial disclosure, audited spend versus project scope logs, any deviations documented with justifications, ecological restoration plan, live updates on core mattressing, plantations and bank greening, citizen oversight, independent civic panels, community water groups, NGO participation, judicial inquiry if necessary to hold responsible parties to account. We need more than just walls and plans. We need accountability. The Vishwamitri River restoration is emblematic of larger truth. Civic money frees rivers and, in some cases, funds private enrichment. Vadodara deserves better, real revival, robust transparency, full ecological integration, and engaged citizens. For rivers to truly flow again, we need not just water, but trust. And right now, that is running dry. With this and a lot more that'll be coming up, make sure that you stay tuned to the Fact Flash.